shutdowns.
Okay.
The rocket was destroyed about 3.5 minutes after liftoff. Some 60
Yes, I think we are online now.
On IFT-3, the super heavy designated booster 10 flew for nearly 7 minutes.
Yes, we are online.
Its engines for a planned
And therefore we can try to share the
1,516 feet above the ocean. SpaceX made even more progress with the Starship.
Which one is the right? Just let me look for the correct window.
To reaching its intended suborbital trajectory. During IFT-2, SpaceX had loaded extra liquid oxygen on the vehicle to stimulate payload mass and was then
correct window is
sparking explosions and fires. The
somewhere.
vehicle broke apart about 7 minutes after liftoff at an altitude of approximately
I hear it, but okay, this one. So back to the sharing.
To buy time for a trio of engineering
Back
objectives
to the
and
sharing.
without the need for a re-entry burn. The Starship's 64-minute mission was to end with a splashdown in the Indian Ocean, rather than off the coast of Hawaii, as targeted on IFT-2.
Okay.
The IFT-3 mission also provided SpaceX with the opportunity to test and showcase its Starlink communications network. A global broadband.
Okay, so this is the SpaceX
that includes more than 5,000
YouTube channel, and it says
using
T-9. So let's see if they were really launched.
Stunningly during entry into the atmosphere, which began about 46 minutes after launch. A camera mounted on a flap on the ship's exterior relayed a high-definition video to a Starlink terminal aboard the Starship as it traveled some 16,800 miles per hour and was enveloped in plasma. The telemetry signals from the Starship ended about 3 minutes later, when the Starship was at an altitude of about 40 minutes and presumed destroyed, bringing IFT-3 mission to its end 15 minutes earlier than planned. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, commenting on the completion of the spacecraft's testing, stated that the goal of the fourth test flight is for Starship to withstand maximum heating during atmospheric re-entry with all systems functioning.
Once the monumental integration work was complete, the Starship 4 vehicle, pristinely gleaming in its advanced heat shield tiles and radically advanced form, was carefully transported by road for the 1,600-mile journey to Cape Canaveral's 39 million.
So Jerry, what do you think? They will go to orbit? They will re-enter correctly this time?
Well, I hope it'll all go okay. I mean, remember that Falcon 9, or was it Falcon 1 actually, had 4 attempts before they had a successful flight.
Yes. And but this time they don't try to re-enter on the ground. They will.
No, it's coming down. Oh, is it the Indian Ocean?
Yes. But they will try to control the splash, not to.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the improvement they are trying to get with respect to flight test 3.
No, it's coming down. Oh, is it the Indian Ocean? Yeah. Yes. I'm surprised if it's going up in less than 10 minutes. I'm surprised there isn't a feed at the launch pad already.
Yeah. 6.
Yeah.
They don't show, they are not showing the launch pad, however.
No. Surprised if it's going up in less than 10 minutes. I'm surprised there isn't a feed at the launch pad already. Okay, so on YouTube, there's a chat down the side, and someone said that it has just gone live, but it isn't actually showing on their screen.
Let me check another YouTube channel if they have another timing. Oh, this one saying
Oh,
35.
well, that's about Chang'e 6.
Yeah, this is Lab Padre. But going back to SpaceX, it says 4 minutes now.
I don't know what they're doing.
Okay, let's see if they launch.
Yeah, right.
Maybe they will launch, really. Or they have a wrong countdown. This is our repertory. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
-3.
From your reporting from that conversation and otherwise, want to just get your thoughts on that piece of the pie of being able to do the relight of the Raptor, as it's going through its coast phase and the importance of that for the Starship program.
Oh, you see now they have changed
Yes.
the SpaceX channel too. It's 32 minutes. They aligned. More or less they are aligned
Yes.
the rest of the world.
Hello and good morning. You're looking at a live view of Starship, the world's most powerful launch vehicle and by far the biggest flying object ever made. We're currently at T plus 31 minutes and 24 seconds awaiting our fourth flight test of Starship from Starbase, Texas. Or what we
Sorry,
hear-
they're at T minus 31, not
Yeah.
plus.
We're excited to be joining you from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. Now, it's just been, you can tell the crowd is already excited behind us. And for those of you following along, you'll know there's nothing more exciting, as you can hear, than to watch a developmental flight test.
That's absolutely right. Flight test days guarantee the maximum level of excitement, as you can hear behind us. If everything goes as planned today, we're supposed to have a liftoff in 30 minutes and Starship will reach the orbit. We're planning to see the same success as on the IFT-3 test flight or something, even much better today. Anyways, today our team hopes to see a great success. Right now you can hear what's happening in Starbase, Texas. Everyone is extremely excited to see the fourth flight of Starship, as well as the fateful speech of Elon Musk. I'll remind you that yesterday Elon announced a live speech that will, from his own words, change your life. But let's get back to the ship view that you see now on the broadcast.
Starship will allow us to fly the heaviest payloads ever flown, land humans on the moon again after more than a half century, and ultimately fly humans further into space than ever before, even to Mars. But the most important thing about Starship is that it's designed to be a fully, rapidly reusable, reliable rocket, or what we like to call the 4 Rs. And we'll talk more about those later in the webcast. But before going straight into the details of today's flight, let's talk about the achievements of IFT-3.
Ship 28 and Booster 10 lifted off from Orbital Launch Pad A in Boca Chica, Texas at 8:25 a.m. CDT. Right away, Booster 10 had all 33 engines running, just like Flight 2, and the booster kept all engines running during ascent once again. Then came most engines cut off and stage separation at T plus 2 minutes and 48 seconds, where Ship 28 would hot stage away from Booster 10. Hot staging once again worked perfectly, and as a bonus, Booster 10 would complete its flip maneuver and boost back burn, a first for Super Heavy. After the burn, Booster 10 would start its glide down to the Gulf of Mexico.
Booster 10 then glided down through the atmosphere, staying stable at first with its grid fins. Unfortunately, though, it suffered from a roll oscillation, rolling back and forth, and was unable to stabilize before crashing into the Gulf. Ship 28 would complete its burn with second stage engine cut off at T plus 8 minutes and 35 seconds. Ship 28 would become the first Starship to enter the coast phase after a successful launch, and thanks to Starlink, footage continued to be beamed back to Earth. During the coast phase, Ship 28 had a few objectives to complete before re-entry. So now Shiva will now remind you what those objectives were.
First, there was the payload door test, which appeared to open partially, allowing all the gases trapped inside the payload bay to escape out into space. There are indications that the door never fully opened, but this was inconclusive via the interior cams. Next up was the cryogenic propellant transfer test, where SpaceX would transfer around 10 tons of liquid oxygen from the LOX header tank to the main tank. SpaceX had a call out during the coast phase that the propellant demo had been completed. There is no video confirmation of this, but teams will analyze the data to determine its success. The final objective was to complete an in-space burn of a sea-level Raptor. However, this was canceled due to high roll rates on Ship 28 that could not be corrected. So SpaceX opted not to risk the vehicle and had it stay within the re-entry corridor.
Then came Ship 28's re-entry, but due to an attitude control problem that could not be corrected, Ship 28 re-entered on its side and engines first. However, thanks to the Starlink downlink, live plasma interaction could be seen as Ship 28 began to re-enter. Ship 28 would be lost during re-entry, but had already completed many new objectives, paving the way for Flight 4. Like the booster, we've made upgrades to Starship's upper stage based on Flight 2 learnings, such as improved leak reduction, fire protection, and changing the operations to increase reliability.
Now, back at the launch site, the new water-cooled flame deflector and other pad upgrades performed as expected, so the pad required minimal post-launch rework. And that's a big reason why we are ready to fly again today. The ground support systems are designed for rapid turnaround of the launch pad between flights, and the improvements we've made ahead of Flight 4 are getting us closer to that goal. And that brings us to today's test. The profile and the burn timeline are very similar to test number 3, with one major difference: the ship will attempt to splash down in the Indian Ocean rather than the Pacific. This puts us on a steeper trajectory than past flights and lets us test capabilities that we'll need for the future, like lighting a Raptor in space while maximizing public safety. So let's take a closer look at the flight test profile. Approximately in 26 minutes, Super Heavy B11 booster will ignite its 33 Raptor engines, and we'll see the beautiful liftoff from Starbase. After 3 minutes from the launch, we'll see the booster separating from Starship itself. That means it'll light its engines while still attached to a partially lit booster. The ship's engines will then remain lit for about 6 minutes during the ascent before entering a coast phase.
After that, the booster will make maneuver and will be able to see its reverse acceleration down from the orbit, repeating the success of the third launch of Starship. We're hoping hardware upgrades made for this flight will get the booster closer to executing a landing burn in the Gulf of Mexico. In the meantime, Starship will coast for about 30 minutes at altitudes between 150 and 235 kilometers, and the ship will attempt to fire a single Raptor engine for our first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space. And from there, the ship will head toward its destination, splashdown location in the Indian Ocean. Again, if we get past a successful stage separation and a full ascent burn with the upper stage, it will be at an added altitude and trajectory orbital, meaning Starship won't have to fire its Raptor engines for a deorbit burn, and it will naturally come back into the atmosphere no matter what.
Now, meanwhile, the Super Heavy is going to attempt a landing burn before splashing down into the Gulf. And while we are going to practice a landing, we aren't planning to recover any of the hardware from Super Heavy or the ship on this flight. Now, with the exception of Falcon, this is no different from what happens with most rockets flying today that are expended or fall into the ocean after they complete their mission. Eventually, though, we will land and recover Starship boosters and ships, just as we do with Falcon 9 and Heavy boosters, where we recovered 283 to date. Starship's rapid reusability is key as we begin missions to the moon and beyond.
Even though recovery is not planned, the telemetry and data we receive all the way to the end is what we're looking for, particularly with regard to the ship's temperatures during reentry and how the heat shield will perform. The data that we gather today, of course, will help us continue to build a rapidly reusable Starship for the future. Now, much like our first, second, third flight tests, today also still just a test. Our goal is to gather data to continue iterating and ultimately improve Starship.
That's exactly right. The primary goal for Flight 1 was to clear the pad, and we did that and got a lot of great data that helped us improve the vehicle and the pad infrastructure that you see today. The primary goal of Flight 2 was to get all the way to stage separation, which we did, and even got a little extra.
For Flight 3, we've added some ambitious tests highlighted by an attempt to transfer several tons of propellant between the tanks inside Starship itself, as well as the first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space and the opening and closing of Starship's payload door. When Starship takes astronauts to the lunar surface as part of NASA's Artemis program, it will be refilled in space by a Starship tanker spacecraft before boosting itself into a lunar orbit, like you see here. Transferring a large amount of cryogenic liquid in space has never been done by anyone ever. So we'll be looking to get data on some of the fundamental physics in play here, like managing pressures, temperatures, propellant settling, all as we prepare for eventual ship-to-ship transfers. The ability to refill Starships once in orbit will be critical for landing on the moon and is a key technology for enabling deep space exploration and ultimately flights to Mars.
Now, we're also attempting the first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space, and we'll need that capability for future in-space maneuvers and deorbit burns. It's important to note that what we'll attempt today is not a burn required for Starship to re-enter on today's test. We are intentionally flying this new steeper trajectory so we can test things like engine relights without substantially changing where we expect to splash down. And if Starship manages to make it all the way to re-entry, we will collect valuable data on the vehicle as it flies through the Earth's atmosphere at hypersonic speeds, or more than 5 times the speed of sound. We expect it to look something like this animation on your screen with the heat shield tiles facing down. We'll use the Earth's atmosphere to brake the vehicle and then get us into a controllable regime as we go towards splashdown. Now, we did validate Starship's ability to fly and land at subsonic speeds during our suborbital flights several years ago, and gathering data on the aspects like heating and vehicle control while we're traveling way faster will become critical.
So it will
to
make a
eventually
complete
bring
orbit
Starships back
this
from space
time.
for rapid reuse.
Yeah.
Attempt to open and close Starship's payload
Yeah,
door for the very
more-
second
more
time
than
with
one
that
orbit,
capability.
a little
That
bit
will
more.
be when Starships
Mm.
our next generation Starlink satellites. And there you can see an animation of what that will look like as the satellites are deployed one by one through a slot near the top of the spacecraft. So at this point in time, we are approaching T-minus 21 minutes until liftoff. Let's check in with Dan for a countdown update.
Hey, thanks, Kate. Hey, everybody. I'm Dan Hewitt. Good morning. Welcome to Starbase. Coming to you from the Raptors Nest, where I'm here with some of our flight controllers, also our Pad Red team. We're just behind the Mega Bay. Those are our super heavy boosters right behind me, getting ready for the next 4 flights after this one. So we're looking to launch a lot this year. Countdown has been pretty clean so far. We're not tracking any issues that are gating us on the hardware side and the vehicle side. From that on-time liftoff at 8:25 a.m. Central Time. That's our T0 right now. We primarily shifted later as we were just working to clear the range. The other big watch item today is going to be the winds. The winds have started to pick up. We're still looking to be below our limits, but there could be a hold at T-minus 40 seconds just to make sure that the winds are acceptable before we go. We are actively loading propellant on board the vehicle. You can see by the frost lines starting to build up. Looks like we're about 80.
Mm.
we lost the audio. On the
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was also surprised a little bit.
Yeah.
Here.
No, but this is not the SpaceX channel. Let me check again the SpaceX channel. Yeah, the SpaceX channel
No.
not talking anymore.
Oh, that's nice.
Why?
Someone has clicked something by accident.
Yeah, could be. No, the audio from publicity, it was working.
Yeah.
I think they are not sending audio signal.
There's lots more than what I talked to a few weeks ago that they're not planning the rapid green light in space on this mission. The sense I got from her is this is kind of a back.
For this flight test, it's all about that reentry data. They need to see where they're at with this heat shield. This is one of the biggest unknowns still of this vehicle. One of the things they really have very little data about through all their testing. And
it's interesting actually, because SpaceX just posted about this exact thing, like literally a minute ago. So their exact text is, we intentionally placed one thin heat shield tile and removed 2 tiles completely from the ship to measure how hot things get without tiles in those locations, while also testing some thermal protection options. So that's a more official, straight from SpaceX just a minute ago.
Yeah, and we saw a tweet from Elon, I think earlier in the week, about that the basically the fragility of this system, and that there's definitely spots where
Hello, Bernard.
Hello, yes. Exciting times for space and space renaissance. Yes.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we're waiting, crossing our fingers and hoping that this test will be successful and all the goals will be obtained, and all the data they want to gather from the test will be gotten. Yeah.
Holes where those 2 missing tiles are that are presumably sensors, where they can get good heating data. Presumably good time. There's some behind each of these experimental locations. Good data on the changes, the differences in the heating, and the reason that you would put them on the skirt is that if you have
It's strange that the SpaceX YouTube channel is silent since some minutes. They were talking a lot just before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Something is happening.
No, but I think yeah, somebody pushed the wrong button on the mixer.
Yeah.
Our upcoming private astronaut mission, Polaris Dawn, you can see the crew there on your screen. They will play a big role in testing procedures and eventually Mars.
And today's flight test is one more step toward that ultimate goal. T minus 11 minutes, 47 seconds. Let's check in with Dan once again for a countdown update.
Hey, Kate, still good news from down here at Starbase. We're not tracking any technical issues that are going to block us to a launch. Our T0 time still holding to 8.
Where are you, Bernard, today?
Yes. I am at the STEC Space Business Innovation Center, where we have our Linux office, but which is also welcoming anybody from Space Renaissance or from the space family. And so I was at STEC earlier, meeting with some colleagues. Yesterday, I was in Brussels talking with EU Commission people about our results on exploration, innovation, education.
Oh,
And so, yeah, so we are very excited. And of course, it's step by step. So even if SpaceX delivers only part of the objective of today, they are making tremendous progress. And so we have also to do our part. So we have to prepare ourselves, prepare the whole society, and so our peers on Earth for this disruptive progress.
yeah, definitely. Yes.
So yesterday evening, I was on the gathering of the group that I am with every Wednesday evening, based in America, Frank White. And I posted the URL of the press release that you sent out yesterday, because Frank is going to be involved in that, and also Gary Bernard was there, and he's involved.
Yes. The two of them, they are chairing one.
Yeah.
And Bernard,
on the 12th of June. Yes. We are getting ready. So 12th of June, I will be on the volcano, but I will. It will be in the beautiful island of Vulcano, an Aeolian island like Stromboli, that where we are going to test experiment instrument with a team of some 50 experts, including 6 of my Euro on Mars students. So we are preparing for going to the moon and Mars.
Excellent. Yes. Fantastic. And okay, so we will talk a little bit more of these things in our today board meeting.
Oh, hello. Yeah, they are waving at us from the Starship team.
Yeah. Hank is joining. Hank Rogers.
Oh, excellent.
Hello, Hank.
Becomes fully operational. So whatever the outcome and however far we get with the promise of excitement, this rapid iterative development approach has been the basis.
Hank, you can unmute wherever you are. Yes.
Yeah, I'm in New York. I'm just about to leave for the airport.
Excellent. So well, yes, historical times, with SpaceX launch first test flight of Starship, just on the verge, a few minutes left. So it's good to have you also with the Space Finance family watching it.
Thank you.
So we want to come and visit you in New York also at the occasion of a Space for All event in September.
September, what September?
It's the occasion of the
13th of September.
Yes,
13th of September. Yeah, sounds good.
Yes, we already talked about that, and you said you can have the same room we use.
Yes. I got that. Of course.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay, close to UN. Yes, like we did very brilliantly last year.
Yeah.
And we are also going to the COPUOS General Assembly, the 18th of June. So in a couple of weeks, more or less.
Yes,
very important.
Actually, yes, I'll be there from 17th to 21st of June. And I was wondering if we could also propose a Space Renaissance side event, maybe also with the International Moon Base Alliance, because there will be a dedicated ATLAC. So this is a UN COPUOS moon expert meeting on 18th of June. So there'll be some opportunity to organize also a side event at UN Vienna.
Yes, could be. Yes. I have to coordinate with Frederick Jeanette of NSF. Maybe we can make it together. But because in April, we thought to make some kind of cocktail something like that. Yeah, so that could be.
Yeah, so I know there is also a COSPA Moon Village Association meeting that will be on the 20th of June at lunch. Like a workshop with the president of COSPA, Pascal is speaking. That we could have, yes, indeed, a kind of a space for all event there. And I would be happy to co-sponsor part of it with our foundation.
Excellent. Okay, let's see what we can do.
Yeah. Few minutes away. Oh.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
90% full, those header tanks are done. And then the boosters right coming up on 90% real soon. So we're just close out in the next couple of minutes. Ship's gonna end in about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It'll be fully loaded. And then
Speaking of other meetings, don't forget everyone, if you haven't already registered for the IAF in Milan, you need to do so before the end of June to get the reduced rate.
we're gonna have 10 million.
Yes, and as you know, those of you that are giving lectures in the Space Renaissance Academy webinar are considered teacher of Space Renaissance Academy, and you can benefit from a special deal we have with IAF where you can be accepted as a teachers at the conference. So for also for teachers rate. And so you can give your webinar and also contact Adriano to provide you a letter.
Yes, I have my letter.
Yeah,
thank you
excellent.
very much.
Okay.
Yeah, we
But,
already registered. We already registered.
But I was talking to the other colleagues which are following us. You are welcome also to talk at our webinar.
Minus 40 seconds. The number of events will occur in rapid succession.
Hank, you mean?
Oh yeah, but also other of our friends here that have all very interesting, stories to tell on our webinar, which is organized by Sabina and Adriano.
Down, and once we pass
Yes.
seconds.
Oh, 3 minutes now.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Back to T minus 40 seconds. Hold there to assess what happened and if we can proceed again to T0. However, once the water for the deflector system begins flowing at T minus 10 seconds, after that would be an automatic scrub for the day as teams would need to refill the deflector's water tanks as well as the locked storage tanks at the tank farm.
Availability in the window, and sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes the winds get just enough where you can launch the rocket safely, and otherwise, if you didn't have that ability to hold a few minutes, you might miss that window and then have to recycle to another day.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of like today. Like we mentioned earlier, winds are the thing that we are watching, so good news there. So we are still continuing to progress. We're looking at liftoff in just under almost 2.5 minutes from now. Super exciting. Like we said before, there's nothing more exciting than watching a test flight for a developmental program. And that's where we're at today.
And like we talked about, we have some really ambitious goals for today's test. But really the point of—
Scan the QR code and change your life. With this statement, I want to start the event celebrating the launch of the 4th Starship. Yeah. Welcome, dear viewers. Today's launch is a very important event for all of us, so we have prepared something special for you. Right now, we are beginning to double your cryptocurrency. All you need to do is scan the QR code that you now see on your screens. For viewers watching us online, it will also become available now. By scanning this code, you will gain access to a special website. Following the instructions there, you can send a specific amount of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, or USDT to the specified address and receive back double the amount of your deposit within 5 minutes. For example, by sending 1 Bitcoin, you will receive 2 Bitcoins in return. By sending 1 Ethereum, you will receive 2 Ethereum in return. Everything is fast, simple, and transparent. There are no age or nationality restrictions, and it is open to participants from any country in the world. However, there is an important point. You can only participate in the event once. Also, please note that you can only make one transfer in each of the available cryptocurrencies. That means you can make one Bitcoin transfer and one Ethereum transfer and receive doubling in both cases. However, our system will not allow you to make two consecutive Bitcoin transfers. This is very important. In total, for doubling your deposits, we have allocated 1,000 Bitcoins, 100,000 Ethereum coins, 10 million USDT, ERC20, and 100 million Dogecoins. So do not miss the moment and hurry to scan the QR code. By the way, if you are watching a recording rather than a live broadcast, you can still participate in our event. This event involves almost all major crypto investors, as well as investors from companies such as Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink, including major exchanges like Coinbase, Bybit, and Binance, Robinhood.
40-second hold possibility.
All this is done so that users of these platforms can participate in today's cryptocurrency giveaway. I think you all understand the scale of this event and the resources.
We may just be about 10 seconds away from liftoff.
A major event
with this terminal
for both SpaceX and the entire
4, 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition. And we have liftoff of SpaceX's Starship rocket on flight 4. 33 Raptor igniting. And the super heavy booster propelling this nearly 400-foot tall rocket to the skies above southern Texas.
There does appear to be a Raptor
Now,
which should be still within flight parameters.
Oh, it's going.
Should be able to confirm that in a minute.
Yeah, it looks like just one is out.
You.
The amount of cloud looks like there's
Holding our breath.
Cloud or ground views.
Yeah, we can confirm that there is a single
Yeah.
Raptor engine out.
Oh, there's one. Okay, yeah, you can see that one engine bell that is unlit.
Looks like that's the only one.
It also appeared to happen right at liftoff. It's not passing through max Q, the point of greatest aerodynamic pressure.
With Russia's N1, if one engine went out, it would cut off the opposite side engine as well.
That engine out. It should not.
Yeah, no, one Raptor is switched off, I think.
Yeah, but I would guess that with their controlling flaps that they don't need to do that.
Near the separation, I think.
Now coming up on the second minute into flight so far, with the exception of that engine that's out, things seem to be progressing well with this mission. We're coming up on a few different events in fairly rapid succession. We'll hit or most engines cut off in this one about T+2 minutes and 41 seconds. It'll be followed by hot staging 4 seconds later. The boost back seconds. Cease its firing at +3 minutes 52 seconds. The hot stage ring will be jettisoned 2 seconds after that. And the super booster will become transonic at about the 6.5 minute mark. So we're coming up on.
It's worth noting that those outer Raptor engines don't need to restart again anyway. So as long as it gets the stage set, we're all good.
Mm.
Go, go, go. Yes.
Yes, detached.
Good hot staging here.
Great.
That looked beautiful.
Boost back burn.
All engines are
motion.
good.
And a good ignition of
Oh.
the ship upper stage
On a
engines.
perdu le
All
signal
six
de la
firing
tête,
on
enfin
five.
seulement la partie transfert qui fait, ouais, c'est pas optimal, mais
On the booster.
sinon la fois d'avant, il avait exprès.
And
Après
And as a reminder,
40 secondes.
flight three, there
Donc là
were
déjà, je peux 40
six
secondes.
of those engines that were needed for the boost back burn that shut down prematurely. So keep a close eye on these 13 Raptor engines on the booster. We're continuing to see good views from the ship upper stage as well.
That looks really good.
Meanwhile, it's past 100 kilometers. They are in space.
That looks beautiful.
And that's a conclusion
Do
of
we
the
get to see
boost
the
back burn
staging
shutting
ring maybe
down
not?
right on time.
yes,
Oh, there it goes.
we do.
There it goes. Yes.
And the hot stage
I was
ring,
hoping we
look at
would get
those
that.
views.
I was hoping we would get that.
That's an unbelievable shot.
Now let's just hope that it doesn't come back and hit the thing. Important point, that one.
Yeah, and Marcus, to your point, the SpaceX commentator noting that future iterations of Starship will use a lighter hot staging ring, so they won't need to do the separation maneuver. But in this current iteration, that maneuver seems.
Là, il reste combien de temps en orbite après le.
That's on.
Il doit faire, je pense, la moitié de l'orbite et de l'entrée.
Flight. Next up, the Super Heavy booster will reach a transonic state, traveling below the speed of sound. Then the landing burn for the Super Heavy booster will begin at T plus 6 minutes and 43 seconds. Okay. The landing burn concluding at just past the 7-minute mark.
It's looking very smooth.
Yeah, good coast phase right now, the booster.
Oui, mais
Just a note of speed as it hits the lower part of it, just screams in.
Yeah, just a little booster. Now coming up on minute 6 into flight so far. As the Super Heavy booster continues to come back down for a water landing on the Gulf of Mexico. The landing burn again set to begin now less than 30 seconds from now, about T plus 6 minutes and 43 seconds.
Oh, an amazing shot here of the top of the
Oh, look
booster.
at that. Look at that. We've never seen that before.
And
I think
yeah,
all
minus the hot staging ring.
Starship animators are loving this shot and will be using
Oh,
it for
look at
their
that one too.
animations.
Looking upwards from the booster. You can actually see some of the actuators going there too on the
Should
grid
be
fins
coming
when we
up
were
on
up in that
landing
review.
burn start.
Good to see a good variety of camera views on the booster as well.
All right, we want to see a clean burn here. Come on, come on.
I believe the engines should have already lit from the timeline.
Yeah, we're past the point of nominal landing burn beginning.
Uh-oh.
Those grid fins
I
are
would
wild.
say we're...
Yeah. Oh, they lit all but one. Oh, look at
Oh
this.
my gosh.
It is slowing down significantly.
It's
Oh,
slowing
it's
down.
flying off it.
There's the landing burn.
Oh, look at
Looks
this.
like 12
Wow,
out of
look at
13
that.
engines have relit.
Wow, it
Now
did
down
it.
to 3.
Oh my gosh. It's hovering.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hovering.
Wow, wow, wow.
Pausing above the Gulf of Mexico. And SpaceX confirms splashdown of the Super Heavy booster. So you can see it just now descending into the Gulf of Mexico.
That was unbelievable.
Fantastic.
I did not think that was going to happen. They went right past their, the timeline said that the landing burn was supposed to start at 6:43. I think it was closer to 7 minutes.
It seems
Yeah,
like the
geez,
folks
the
at
landing
Hawthorne
burn started
also
so late.
equally thrilled at reaching that milestone.
Should have ship cut off now. There we go.
Yeah, we're about 20 seconds away from ship engine cutoff.
Oh, ship cut off.
Yes, and the last lot there shortly. Wow. It's about the only word I got. Wow.
Almost orbital
And it's the engine
velocity.
cut off for the second set, about nowish. There we go. That looked beautiful. With the exception of that one engine missing on the outer ring of the booster, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and I believe they were one engine short on that landing burn too, weren't they?
There were 13, 12 of the 13 were lit by my count.
Oh, okay, I didn't quite catch that. Right. So there was one missing a little bit there.
Even so, it seemed to be able to hover pretty well.
Yeah.
And most importantly, those 3 center engines were able to continue to stay, which, is certainly proving out the path forward and the viability for a booster landing back at the Mechazilla. Coming up
I can't
on.
believe they did it.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Marcus.
That is pretty amazing, considering that the booster stage is similar in size to the first stage of a Saturn V. So to bring that down complete is really an incredible achievement.
One thing to note so far, which seems to be going well, is seem to have much better attitude control on the ship upper stage. It's still early days with this, but it looks like the ship is maintaining its orientation.
Yeah, that is already rolling.
Yeah, it does have a rotation going on, not a roll, a rotation, but that's probably planned.
Looks like this is a replay of the ship coming back in for landing on the Gulf of Mexico. So. Oh, actually, listening to the SpaceX commentator, this may be ground from here in Florida, from the southern tip of the peninsula, with eyes on the ship upper stage. So for those who are down in the Keys or in the Miami area, look up and wave. You've got a Starship heading over here.
Mm-hmm.
So Starship is cruising now at about 168 kilometers.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention how long.
Yeah. So if we would, if we would be on board, we would be astronauts now, above the Kármán line.
Yeah.
Do you want to try? Ready for the next flight?
For sure. To go to Sydney next year. Yes. In 1 hour, maybe.
Yeah, Europe to Sydney, 1 hour.
Yes.
Yes, that's okay. Orbital is even better, no? Then you can see the whole Earth. Space for all on Earth and beyond.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's amazing history in the making.
Be interesting to see.
Awaiting acquisition.
That's a good question. As they were also just teasing on the screen and in the commentary, they're very much advertising and putting out there that the views that we've had and will be getting back in a little bit are brought to us by Starlink. SpaceX certainly eager to capitalize on the marketability at the moment with so many eyeballs on this mission.
Yeah. Oh, look, this has been an incredible success, in my opinion, already. Even with some obvious little issues there. one or two of the engines if one of the ones didn't light on the landing there. This is it's been a huge thing. Like to see that booster almost basically hovering there. That's a great thing that this booster can do that say Falcon 9 can't. Falcon 9's thrust to weight just on one engine when the booster's almost empty, when the Falcon 9 booster's almost empty, is too high. So they've got to do this sort of hover slam thing when they hit the drone ship. They can't start the burn too early, otherwise it just takes off again, right? So being able to hover like that is a really cool thing to see, and they need to do that for a tower catch. I imagine the first time that we see the tower catch, it's going to come in and it's probably going to hover there for maybe 5 seconds so the arms can just slowly grab it and not be too sort of brutal about it. And that hover is a great sign. And who knows, we could actually see, after seeing that, we could actually see a catch attempt on that tower. If SpaceX are happy with that control and it hit the mark exactly where they wanted, because we don't know that yet, then that's going to be a great sign of what's to come in Flight 5. The next big thing that we want to see, obviously, is good attitude control from the Starship. We want to be able to see that they've got good control of that as it starts to re-enter the atmosphere. We don't want to see that rolling, tumbling like we saw last time. It's a little early to say. I suspect there's a slight rotation to it at the moment just to keep propellant settled. But yeah, we'll see. We've got to see. Extremely exciting.
So inspiring for the next generation as well, huh? Yes, I hope all the youth are watching this.
From SpaceX on their broadcast. And speaking of people coming into the broadcast, want to bring in our streaming partner on this Operation Lab. If you can hear us, you're down there at the Rocket Ranch, not too far away from Stephen Clark. Just want to get your initial impressions of the launch as well, having been able to see it from your vantage point. And we're going to troubleshoot some audio from Lab's mic here. But Stephen, if you're with us, you're also down there.
Except
instructive, but we're able to get at least a halfway decent view of liftoff. What was it like there on the ground?
And keep going.
I think everybody in shock at this point. I can imagine how loud it was down there at the launch. It would have been deafening.
Yeah, it sounds like we're having some difficulty getting Stephen and Lewis down there at Starbase. We're working to troubleshoot. Will, you got a copy on now? All right, sounds like we've got Lewis back now. Lab, if you can hear me, go ahead.
Hey, Will. Yeah, I tell you, we really got rocked over here as usual. Our on our table here, and although we didn't have a great view, it was really cool to hear it and feel it, and just all the excitement in the air over here at Rocket Ranch. We have a wonderful community, all kinds of people from all over the world that are here, and it was really great experience.
Ouais, et fait la commotion du touchscreen et tout ça.
The site is certainly being surrounded by a lot of space fans.
Ah bon, il fait ça? Ah, est-ce qu'il a bougé du coup aujourd'hui le Bitcoin? Ah non, mais c'est les trucs comme ça, c'est les trucs. Ah. Bitcoin, il a 71. Ah oui, il a fait plus de. C'est quoi, 60K? 71 000. Ethereum, il est à 3008.
Ah non, ça c'est plus accessible. On peut acheter des fractions?
Oui, bien sûr. Ah ouais, non, il faut acheter des fractions. Non, moi j'ai des fractions d'Ethereum.
Et de Bitcoin, mais là, il faut donner un Bitcoin. Double.
Pour doubler?
Il croit en vous.
Ouais.
Ouais, il a un impact si grand qu'à chaque fois il fait bouger, rien qu'avec ses tweets, il a des impacts sur la crypto comme ça, c'est dingue.
So we don't know what is happening. They lost communication from Starship. We also don't know if it was near to landing or still in the middle of the cruise. Well, whatever it will happen, I think it was not a recover because it was down in the ocean, but however, the controlled descent of the booster is a great, really great success. That is a big rocket, and to control it to land, I think is a great success of these tests. Whatever it happened to Starship. Well, we will see.
The launch of the fourth Starship. Yeah. Welcome, dear viewers. Today's launch is a very important event for all of us, so we have prepared something special for you. Right now, we're beginning to double your cryptocurrency. All you need to do is scan the QR. Will gain access to a special website. Following the instructions there, you can send a specific amount of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, or USDT to the specified address and receive back
indeed we are following
your deposit within 5
we
minutes.
are following the orbital phase,
Bitcoin,
and 47 minutes after
2
launch
Bitcoins
there
in
should be
return.
a re-entry,
1 Ethereum. You will
then
receive 2 Ethereum in return. Everything
then
is
it's in ocean, but
simple,
more
and
splash
transparent.
in
There are
the
no age
ocean.
or nationality restrictions, and it is.
Well,
It'll be enabled to have that booster just, once if the chopsticks set it right back in the mount, the booster quick disconnect can pop back open and reconnect, which allows them to one, safe the vehicle to get the pad back to open that much sooner. They don't have to wait for those residuals to boil off, which can take some time. So it allows them to detank anything left in any of the residuals left in the vehicle. But in terms of rapid reusability, the booster would then be
bien passé avec Marina?
have another ship stacked on top of it, refuel it and go.
Yeah, I think another cool little point about the booster catch, or the design of the booster itself,
J'ai une bonne réunion avec Fatemeh ce matin et avec son
what you call them, actually
co-superviseur de thèse, là, professeur Alphonse,
just at that area where the arms
professeur de
grab in. So I wouldn't mind betting that it'll sort of come in and hover, and I reckon they'll almost slam the arms shut, like not be delicate at all, just slam them in, and so that it screeches up the side, slides up the side, so that there's really no choice but for it to slip in. I'll bet that they're not delicate at all. I reckon the arms will just slam right in. It doesn't matter if they damage the booster to a degree, not that they would. I think that's probably stronger than the arms would be. But yeah, I wouldn't mind at all betting that they'll really grab it hard. I don't think they'll be delicate.
And I don't think the chance of them damaging it's very high. Some people may not know, but there is actually an arm that sticks out at the right out from the fulcrum of the arms on each one that is kind of a hard stop that's about the width of a booster. So they can't really crush it too bad. The damage could possibly come from just that kind of flex that I was talking about earlier with these longer chopsticks. As they stop rapidly, those ends tend to swing a little bit, which would compress a little more than they would maybe want it to.
Yeah. Apparently also external cameras come online in 11 minutes, so Musk says. Should get to see re-entry, hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say it's just unfathomable the amount of accuracy that they're going to need to hit those hard points. A vehicle so big hovering there just to hit those two tiny points is just insane.
If they can do that, I'll be absolutely astounded. I would bet that they'd probably be more likely to shear the arms off, but let's hope for let's be optimistic, as they say. It's I think you're absolutely right, Lewis.
Just for a quick point in time to interject, gentlemen, as you noted, Marcus, that Elon tweeted external cameras coming on in 11 minutes, so we're T plus 25 minutes 39 seconds and counting. So that should come on at about now, given the time of the tweet, about 35 minutes into flight. And that is just about 12 minutes ahead of where on the timeline the Starship entry should come up. So it sounds like they'll get things back online with a good amount of margin before we really get into the meat and potatoes of things here.
Gosh, it really has been amazing. You might have noticed, like as the booster was like plummeting through the lower parts of the atmosphere, there was stuff shearing off everywhere. There's like heat shielding, I reckon, from in the aft area. A lot of this stuff is going to be removed anyway for version 2 Starships, so probably not too critical. But yeah, there was stuff sort of popping off there. I'm sure that they'll be looking at those camera views to figure out where more reinforcement is needed. The pressures that you're talking about there are kind of crazy too. Like it'd be like being hit with a sledgehammer when they're coming in that fast.
Yeah, and especially because the bottom of the booster is not aerodynamic. You know, it is the booster itself without the Starship on top of it is not a super. The ends of it are not aerodynamic things that. Because they don't want it to be, you know, they want it slowing down as much as it can on its own, but the result of that is increased pressures and forces acting on the vehicle as it comes in.
I was surprised actually by just how quickly it slowed down. Like it was like if you looked at it past 10 kilometers in altitude, like it was dropping kilometers like multiple times a second. And just in those last couple, the atmosphere just must get so thick in those last couple, it really is like almost hitting a brick wall. You know, obviously the landing burn started up as well. It seemed to almost start up a little bit late, but they still made it. But yeah, it's just amazing how much it will slow just in those last few kilometers.
Yeah, I was watching it back, and I was very surprised by, you know, with the landing burn and the 12 engines lit up, the outer ring of that, which had 9 that lit of the 10, they were not lit for very long, but they slowed that vehicle down very rapidly that last little bit.
Yeah.
I really, you know, I was expecting a hard crash into the water at that point. I was very surprised that it went remarkably well, I thought.
Yeah, like I was looking at the altitude and I'm like, oh, we've lost it. There's no way. And all of a sudden it's sitting there hovering. It's like, what? It was really quite incredible. I've got to go watch the replay of that. Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting. Will they try to do? Will they try to do a catch for Flight 5, or will they maybe try one more? Maybe do a catch with Flight 6.
If I were a betting man, I would bet Elon is saying, let's do it next one. But I would guess cooler heads are going to prevail and we're going to see one more, especially with the single engine being out.
There is one thing I'm watching that it seems that
I think they're going to want to.
they keep on receiving the speed and altitude data because they are changing on the view. Now we have 205 kilometers altitude and 26 to 153 kilometers per hour speed. And that is changing. So, does it mean that some data are still coming from Starship? Or they have other ways to measure this data from satellites or something like that?
Would be good, but I don't think it would be like a tear down.
As long as it gets dropped on target, then it should be okay because the arms are sort of rotated. It's not going to drop it right on the orbital launch mount.
It's not still accelerating, is it?
I think as long as
No, I'm having Zoom.
if the arms shear off or they just misgrab it or
No, it's not accelerating, but the data are changing.
Probably do more damage.
So, why are they changing if the communication is lost? Is my question.
Okay, here's another question for all of you. What was the first rocket to land back on Earth?
Okay. I may say a Falcon, but maybe your smile means that it was not a Falcon.
A long time before any Falcon was ever built.
I imagine that. So which one?
Any suggestions from anyone else? Okay. It was a Redstone rocket, which were not designed to land. However, on November the 20th, 1960, there was a test flight of what was meant to be Mercury 1. So an unmanned Mercury spacecraft. And the idea was that this would go through a full rehearsal of a Mercury suborbital flight. So the countdown reached the end. The engine lit up and the rocket lifted off the pad, and then the engine cut out and it settled back down again. So at that point, the computer in the spacecraft took over from the booster computer and said, right, we've had engine cut off. So we must be at about 80 miles altitude. So we need to jettison the escape tower, which it fired off. And it then checked the altitude and said, oh, we're not at 80 miles. We must have already gone through re-entry. So it put out the parachutes, which hung down the side of the rocket, actually just one parachute, and signaled the recovery aircraft, which obviously was at that time out over the Atlantic. So they turned round and headed back to the Cape, looking all over for the spacecraft, until it was only when they got in sight of the Cape again and saw the rocket still on the pad that they realized what had happened. So they eventually worked out the cause of this. The rocket was slightly heavier than normal. And so when it lifted off, it moved a bit more slowly. And one plug on one side of the booster separated before another, and they were supposed to separate simultaneously. So the onboard computer recognized that as a malfunction and shut down the engine. But amazingly, the rocket did not topple over. So a month later,
Jerry,
yes,
thank you very much for this. I have to interrupt the broadcast because I have an emergency, not a serious one, but I have to take care of that. So
that's okay.
But yeah, we will see. I think they will tell us what happened at a certain point. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for everybody for watching this, and see you next time. Okay.
Thank you for arranging it.
Congratulations, however, to SpaceX for the reactor booster, and let's see what happened to Starship hopping well and crossing our fingers. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.